Animated.
animated animated
Animated.
animated مفعم بالحيوية.
Let's learn English with Zootopia. Let's learn English with Zootopia. So, Zootopia is the fantastic Disney. Let's learn English with Zootopia.
fantastic فيلم رائع.
Animated movie, and it actually features the animated movie, and it actually features the voice and singing of Shakira.
And to the voice and singing.
Features.
Features مميزات features animated movie and the actually features ميزات
Features.
features
Animated movie, and it actually features the voice and singing of Shakira.
singing غناء
Animated movie, and it actually features the voice and singing of Shakira.
Zootopia is a unique place. It's a crazy, beautiful, diverse city.
Zootopia is Zootopia
Zootopia is a unique.
Zootopia is a unique place. It's a crazy, beautiful.
Zootopia is a unique place. It's a crazy, beautiful, diverse city. Zootopia is a unique place. It's a crazy, beautiful, diverse city. Zootopia is a unique place.
Diserve City. Diserve City. مدينة مجنونة.
Diverse.
Diverse. متنوعة. Diverse.
Diverse. Zootopia is a unique place. It's a crazy.
It's a crazy, beautiful.
Zootopia is a unique place. It's a crazy, beautiful, diverse city.
Diverse city. Diverse city. متنوعة.
But we celebrate our differences. But we celebrate our difference.
Really
celebrate our difference.
Really quick before we get into the lesson, I wanted to let you know that if you're new here, every single lesson we make fun lessons just like this one, so that you can understand fast. We make natives without getting lost, without missing the jokes, and with skills. Viviane says she's really happy because when she finishes, she can understand skills. Viviane says she's really happy because when she finishes, she can understand everything.
Finishes. She can understand everything.
Everything. And your English comprehension is going to increase a ton too.
Is going to increase a ton.
Comprehension.
Comprehension. استيعاب. Everything and your English comprehension is going to increase
Everything.
a ton too. Everything and your English comprehension.
Everything. And your English comprehension is going to
Comprehension.
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 everything. And your English comprehension is going to increase a ton too. Everything. And your English comprehension is going to increase a ton too. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button and the bell down below. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button and all you have to do is hit the subscribe button all you have to do is
hit the subscribe button and
to, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button and the bell down below so you don't miss any of our new lessons.
Any of our lessons. So you don't miss any of our new lesson.
بونت برايت بيوتي الجديد.
So do you want to be able to understand natives even when we speak really fast? Well, in this 4-step power lessons, vocabulary memory is
BBC. Hello, in this program we're talking about biscuits.
In this program, we're talking about biscuits.
Biscuits? A subject very close to my heart.
Biscuits, a subject.
Biscuits? A subject very close.
A subject very close of my heart. A subject very close of my heart. A subject. الموضوع. Very close to my heart. Close to my heart. قريب إلى قلبي. Close to my heart.
Biscuits? A subject very close to my heart. Biscuits? A subject very close to my heart. Something important to me and something important to me and
Something important to me.
something important to me and that interests me. And that interests me. And that interests me.
And that interested me.
And that interests me.
Interested me.
And that I know, Rob. You are a biscuit connoisseur after all. You are a biscuit connoisseur after all.
Connoisseur. متذوق. Connoisseur. Connoisseur.
Connoisseur.
Connoisseur. You are a biscuit connoisseur after all.
You are a biscuit connoisseur after all. You are a biscuit connoisseur after all. And in the UK, many of us love to nibble these sweet treats.
Nibble is sweet.
Nibble.
Nibble. And love to nibble. Love to nibble. Love to nibble.
Love to nibble these sweet treats. Love to nibble these sweet treats.
These sweet trees.
Treats.
Treats.
Love to nibble these sweet treats. Love to nibble these sweet treats.
Love to nibble. يحب الكثير التذوق. Love to nibble. These sweet trees.
Love to nibble these sweet treats. Love to nibble these sweet treats. And we have lots of names for them. And we have lots of names for them too. And we have lots of names for them.
And we have a lot of names for them too.
Yes, we have the chocolate digestive. Yes, the Garibaldi, the custard the jammy dodger. Oh, the jammy dodger. It's making my mouth water. It's making my mouth water.
It's making my mouth water. It's making my mouth water.
It's making. I can see. But we're not going to be tucking into any. But we're not going to be tucking into any biscuit. But we're not going to be tucking in.
Tucking.
Tucking.
But we're not going to be tucking. نتناول tucking.
But we're not going to be tucking into any. But we're not going to be tucking into any biscuits today. Instead, we'll be looking at the. Any biscuits today. Any biscuits today. Instead, we'll be looking.
Instead. بدلا من ذلك. Instead, we'll be looking.
Instead, we'll be looking at the
Origins and the language of this.
Oranges and the language. Oranges and the language of harmful.
Origins and the language of this humble snack. The origins and the language of this humble. The origins and the language of this humble snack.
Humble snack. Humble snack. Humble snack. متواضع.
Humble.
Orange.
Origins and the language. The origins and the
Orange and the language of this humble snack. Humble snack. Snack متواضع.
And before we do that, Rob, let's test your knowledge of biscuits.
Knowledge. Let's test your. Let's test
Knowledge.
knowledge. Let's test your knowledge of biscuits. And before we do that, let's test your knowledge of biscuits.
The question. The British aren't the only fans of biscuit. The British aren't the only fans of biscuits. So the British aren't the only fans.
The British aren't the only fans of biscuits. The British aren't the only fans of biscuits.
So in which country are Barazeks traditionally eaten? Traditionally eaten. Is it
Traditionally eating. So, in which country
are Barazeks traditionally eaten? Traditional. Traditionally. Is it in A, Syria, B, Morocco, or C? Is it in A, Syria, B, Morocco, or C, Spain? C, Spain.
Well, I've not eaten one, but. Well, I've not eaten one.
Well, I've not eaten one. But
I'll have a guess at Syria. But I'll have a guess at Syria.
But I'll have a guess at Syria.
But I'll have a guess at Syria.
But I'll have a guess at Syria.
But I'll have a guess at Syria. But I'll have a guess at Syria.
Okay, I'll reveal the right answer. Okay, I'll reveal the right answer later on. Okay, I'll reveal the right answer later on.
Okay, I'll reveal the right answer later.
But now let's talk more about biscuits. Also, they come in all also sometimes known as cookies. But now let's talk more about biscuits. Also sometimes known as cookies. Also sometimes known as cookies.
Also sometimes known as cookies.
They come in all shapes, sizes, and they come in all shapes, sizes.
They come in all shapes, sizes.
They come in all shapes, sizes. They come in all shapes, sizes. They came.
Shapes. أشكال. Shapes.
Sizes.
They came in all shapes and sizes.
They come in all shapes, sizes, and varieties.
Shapes, sizes. Varieties. أصناف. Varieties. And varieties.
They can be sweet or savory. They can be sweet or
Or savory. مالحة. Savory.
Savory.
مالحة.
They can be sweet or savory, but I prefer the sweet ones. But I prefer the sweet ones. That are crisp, crunchy, and are good for dunk. That are crisp, crunchy,
That are crisp, crunchy, and good for
dunking in my tea. Dunking in my tea.
dunking. تغميس dunking. Dunking.
Dunking.
Dunking. تغميس.
Dunking in my tea. Dunking means dipping into a Dunking means dipping into a liquid. Dunking means dipping into a liquid.
Dunking means dipping into a liquid. Dunking means dipping into the liquid. Dunking means dipping into the liquid. Dunking means dipping into a liquid. A liquid. Dunking means dipping into a liquid.
Liquid.
Dunking means dipping into a liquid. Dunking means dipping into a liquid for a short period of time. For a short period of time.
For a short period of a time. For a short period of time. For a short period of time. لفترة قصيرة من الوقت. For a short period. Short period. فترة قصيرة.
For a short period of time. For a short period of time.
But enough about your eating. But enough about your eating habits, Rob. But enough about your eating habits, Rob. But enough about your eating habits, Rob.
But enough about your eating habits, Rob.
Let's find out how the biscuit got its name. Let's find out how the biscuit got its name.
Let's find out how the biscuits got its name. Let's find out how the biscuits got its name.
It's something the BBC Radio 4 program would have been exploring. Dr. Laura Wright, a historical linguist from
Historical.
Historical.
Historical. Historical.
Historical.
تاريخي. Historical. 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 تاريخي. Historical. Historical.
Linguist.
Linguist. لغوية. Historical linguist. Historical linguist.
Dr. Laura Wright, a historical linguist from the
University
of Cambridge, explains its origin.
Explains its origins. Explain its origins.
From the university.
From Latin bis coctum, twice. From Latin bis coctum, twice cooked. From Latin bis coctum, twice cooked. And it comes to us via Anglo. And it comes to us via Anglo-Norman French. But it's. And it comes to us via Anglo.
And it comes ويصل إلينا. It comes to us.
And it comes to us via Anglo-Norman French, but it's bread. And it comes to us via Anglo-Norman French, but it's bread that's been cooked twice to it. Bread that's been cooked twice to it. Bread that's been cooked twice.
Cooked twice. كم طهيها مرتين.
To extract all the moisture, so to extract all the.
To extract all. استخراج كل. To extract all.
Moisture.
رطوبة. To extract all the moisture. 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 لاستخراج كل الرطوبة.
To extract all the moisture so that it goes hard and. To extract all the moisture so that it goes hard.
so that it goes hard.
It'll stay fit for consumption. It'll stay fit for consumption for a long. It'll stay fit. It'll stay fit for consumption for a long.
And let it stay fit for
Consumption.
consumption. Consumption.
Consumption.
استهلاك. Consumption.
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 And it is stay fit of consumption. 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 استهلاك.
Consumption.
And
It'll stay fit for.
it'll stay. It'll stay. It'll stay.
It'll.
And it'll stay fit for consumption.
Fit. It'll stay fit for consumption for a long. It'll stay fit for consumption for a long time, which is why you can take it for a long time, which is why you can
Which is why you can take it.
for a long time, which is why you can take it to sea for a long time, which is why you can take it to sea and have a sea biscuit. To sea and have a sea biscuit. And to sea and have. And from the 1500s at least. And from the 1500s.
And from the 1500
And from the 1500s at least.
and from the 1500 at least,
We spelt it like it sounds. We spelt it like it sounds.
we spelt it like it sound. We spelt it like it sound. Biscuit.
Spelt.
Spelled.
We spelt it like it sounds. B-I-S-K-E-T. But we spelt it like it sounds. B-I-S-K-E-T. But at some point in the 1800s.
1800. 1800. But at some point in 1800,
But at some point in the 1800s, but at some point in the 1800s, we started to prefer the French. We started to prefer the French.
we started to prefer the French.
We started to prefer the French. We started to prefer the French spelling for reasons of spelling for reasons of ponciness.
Poncy. Poncy. Poncy.
Pon-
Spelling for reasons.
spelling.
So the English word for biscuits has it. So the English word for biscuits has it. So the English word for biscuits has its origins in Latin.
Origin in Latin. Origins in Latin. أصولها origins. Its origin in Latin. أصولها لاتينية.
Its origin. It describes cooking bread twice to make it hard. It describes
It describes cooking bread twice to make it hard. It describes cooking bread twice to make it hard.
It describes cooking bread twice to make it hard. It describes cooking bread twice to make it hard. This baking process meant a biscuit could.
This baking process meant
This baking process meant a biscuit could be. This baking process meant a biscuit could be kept.
This baking process meant تاني a biscuit code. This baking process عملية الخبز.
This baking process meant a biscuit could be kept. This baking process meant a biscuit could be kept for a long time. Be kept for a long time. As Dr. Wright. Be kept for a long time. And as Dr. Wright said, be kept for. It would stay fit for consumption. It would stay fit.
It would stay fit of consumption. Consumption.
It would stay fit for consumption.
Consumption. Consumption.
It would. Another way of saying edible. Another way of saying edible.
Another way of saying edible. Edible. صح.
Another way of saying edible. Another. Or able to be eaten.
That
Able to be eaten.
That's why they were taken on long. That's why they were taken on long sea. That's why they were taken on long. That's why they were taken on.
That's why they were taken on. That's why they were taken on. تم اصطحابهم.
That's why they were taken on long sea voyages. Long sea voyages.
Voyages. رحلة. Long sea voyages. Voyages.
Voyages.
Voyages. Voyages.
Long sea voyages. But they weren't like the big long sea voyages.
But they weren't لم يكونوا
The biscuits we eat now, they were plain. The biscuits we eat now, the biscuits we eat now, they were
the biscuits we know. They were plain.
the biscuits we eat now,
They were plain عادي.
the biscuits we eat now,
They were plain.
they were plain, simple, and very hard baked.
Simple and very hard baked. Simple and very hard baked. Simple and very hard baked. بسيطين وصعب الخبز.
Interestingly, the word biscuit used to be
Interestingly من مثير الاهتمام.
Interestingly, the word biscuit used to be spelt B-I-S-K-E-T, but the French spelling spelt B-I-S-C-U-I-T was later adopted.
Was later adopted.
Adopted.
متبنى.
Biscuits are a handy go-to snack. Biscuits are a handy go-to snack for.
Biscuits are a handy go-to snack.
Biscuits are a handy.
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 Handy. سهلة.
I'm hungry or bored. I'm hungry or bored. I'm hungry or bored.
When I am hungry and bored.
But how did biscuits become such a popular food? Such a popular foodstuff.
Such a popular foodstuff. And how such a popular foodstuff.
Such a popular foodstuff. And how did such a popular foodstuff?
Such a popular foodstuff. Popular.
Foodstuff.
ما أدري إذا هي foodstuff.
Such a popular food.
Popular foodstuff.
Such a popular foodstuff.
It's something.
How did we come to depend on them so much? How did we come to depend on?
Did we come to depend on them?
How did we come to?
It's something Anastasia Edwards, author of It's something Anastasia Edwards, author of Biscuits and Cookies, A Global History. Biscuits and Cookies, A Global History. Biscuits and talked about in the word of mouth program. Listen to the word she uses to mean. Listen to the word she uses to mean.
Listen to the word she uses to mean.
Listen to the word she uses to mean food in her explanation.
Food.
Food in her explanation.
Food in her explanation. في شرحها. Explanation.
One key fact in the rise of the popularity of the biscuit. One key fact in the rise of the popularity.
Rise of the popular. Rise. زيادة. Rise.
كل المر
مش rise. 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 شعبية أو ازدياد.
rise.
Rise. ارتفاع.
One key fact in the rise of the popularity of the biscuit is
Arbitrary. Biscuits.
popularity.
Popularity. Popularity of the biscuits.
Biscuit is meal times. Biscuit is meal times before the Industrial Revolution. Before the Industrial Revolution, people.
Revolution ثورة.
Industrial.
Industrial. Industrial. Industrial. صناعي.
Industrial.
Industrial. Before the industrial revolution, people.
Before the Industrial Revolution, people. Before the Industrial Revolution, people.
Industrial revolution, people. Industrial revolution, people. Industrial revolution, people.
Have a later breakfast and then have a later breakfast.
Have a later breakfast. Have a later breakfast.
Have a later breakfast and
Have a later breakfast and an earlier
an earlier supper. An earlier supper.
earlier supper. Earlier supper.
Supper.
Supper عشاء. Earlier supper.
An earlier. By the end of the Industrial Revolution. By the end of the Industrial Revolution. By the end of the Industrial Revolution.
Industrial revolution. By the end of the industrial revolution. Industrial revolution.
By the end, breakfast is much earlier. Breakfast is the evening meal is much later. So you've got the evening meal is much later. So you've got this big gap of time.
So we have got a big gap. فجوة كبيرة. We have got this big gap of time. Big gap of time. فجوة كبيرة.
Got this big gap of time. Got this big gap of time where people need sustenance, and so where people need sustenance.
Sustenance. And where people need sustenance. قوت. Sustenance.
Where people need sustenance, and so where people need sustenance. Lunch comes to greater prominence. Lunch comes to greater prominence. Lunch comes to greater prominence.
Lunch comes a greater
Prominence.
prominence. الشهرة. Prominence. Lunch comes a greater prominence.
Lunch comes to greater prominence. Lunch comes to great, and tea time comes to greater prominence, and snacking. So there's this
And the snacking. So there's this.
and snacking. So there's this and snacking. So there's this great opportunity for
Great opportunity for real
really biscuits. Something great opportunity.
for real
Something small, something ready, something small, something ready, something easily consumable, not expensive, something easily consumable.
consumable
Consumable.
consumable
Consumable.
consumable
Consumable.
consumable
Consumable.
consumable
Consumable.
consumable
Consumable.
consumable 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 Not expensive.
Expensive, bit of a sugar rush. Expensive, bit of a sugar rush.
A bit of sugar rush. Sugar rush. اندفاع rush.
Rush.
A bit of sugar rush.
Right, so it was the Industrial Revolution that led to, right, so it was the Industrial Revolution that led to, right, so it was the Industrial Revolution that led to the rise,
Let of rise. Led to the rise.
led to the rise, that's the increase in the, led to the rise,
led to أدت إلى led to the rise.
led to the rise, that's the increase in the popularity of biscuit, in the popularity of biscuit.
In the popularity of biscuits.
In the popularity of biscuits, in the popularity of biscuits, because the time between breakfast and dinner, because the time between breakfast and dinner, because the time between breakfast and dinner, because the time between breakfast and dinner,
because the time between the breakfast and dinner
in the evening increased, people got hungry, and they needed food to give them energy, what Anastasia called sustenance.
called sustenance. القوت.
So this is when smaller meals such as lunch or tea. So this is when smaller meals.
Smaller meals. So this is when smaller meals. So this is when smaller meals. So this is when smaller meals, such as
lunch or tea, became important
or more well known.
It had greater prominence. It had greater prominence. And this included snacking on biscuits. These were cheap and easily consumable. Consumable, easy and quick to eat. And because of their ingredients, they gave you a sugar rush.
أعطوك اندفاع سكر.
A quick blast of energy.
A quick blast of energy. Blast. انفجار. A quick blast of energy.
Of course, now we eat biscuits at any time, and because of their sugar content, we eat at any time, and because of
their sugar content, محتواها من السكر.
We know to only eat them in moderation, Rob.
Moderation باعتدال.
I think a packet a day is fine.
I think a packet a day is fine.
But a whole box? Well...
But a whole box, well, that would really...
Take the biscuit. Good idiom there, Rob.
Good idiom. مصطلح. Idiom. Good idiom.
To mean be the most foolish.
foolish,
foolish,
annoying or surprising thing, annoying or surprising thing to, annoying or surprising thing,
annoying or surprising thing, annoying or surprising thing.
But now let's find out the answer to my, but now let's find out the answer to my quiz question, my quiz question. But now let's find out the answer to my,
But now let's find out the answer.
my quiz question, my quiz. Earlier, I asked which country are Barazeks traditionally eaten in.
Brassic, traditionally eaten.
And I thought Syria. Was I right?
Yes, you were. Well done. You are. Yes, you were. You are a smart cookie. You are a. Barazeks are biscuits filled with. Barazeks are biscuits filled with
a roasted sesame,
the roasted sesame seeds and the roasted sesame seeds, the roasted sesame seeds and pistachio chips.
and pistachio chips.
They sound delicious. They sound delicious.
They sound delicious. They sound delicious.
I would love to try some.
I would love to try some.
Okay, well, we've been discussing the language of biscuits.
We are discussing the language of biscuits and
Mentioned some of these words. Mentioned some of these words.
mention some of these words. Mention some of these words.
Dunking describes dipping something like like a biscuit into liquid for a short period of time. For a short.
Describing something as being fit for consumption
Consumption استهلاك.
Consumption means it's edible. Consumption, which is another one of our words, and it means it can be eaten.
Sustenance is another word for food. Sustenance, and something that has prominence. And
Prominence.
something that has
Prominence.
and something is important or more well known. Is important.
And when you get a sugar rush, and you get a quick blast of energy.
You get a quick blast of energy.
You get a quick blast of energy from, unsurprisingly, eating something. Unsurprisingly,
eating something.
Unsurprisingly, eating something containing lots. Unsurprisingly, eating something lots of sugar.
Okay, well, we only get 6 minutes for this program. That's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Cookie crumble. ملف cookie crumble.
crumbles,
ينهار. Crumbles.
Program. So we're out of time. Do you like trying new food?
and I'm Sam.
Do you like trying new food? Do you like trying new food?
I do indeed.
I do indeed. I do indeed. I do indeed.
I love eating foods from around the world. And I especially like trying out restaurants that serve new kinds of food.
That serve new kind of food. The restaurants. I like trying out restaurants that serve new kinds of food.
Me too. And I like food that is a mix of different styles. Sometimes called fusion. Food.
Sometimes called a fusion food. طعام الانصهار. Fusion foods.
Fusion.
انصهار.
Sometimes called. But could I tempt you to some
But I could tempt.
Tempt.
كم جذب.
But could I tempt you to some insect But could I tempt you to some insect tapas or a tapas or
tapas
tarantula donut?
tapas اللي هو المقبلات. tapas
Tapas.
or a tarantula.
Maybe not. The idea of eating food made from bugs. The idea of eating bugs and creepy crawlies.
bugs and creepy crawlies and creepy
Crawlies.
crawlies
Crawlies.
crawlies
Crawlies.
crawlies يزحف pigs and creepy crawlies
Bugs and creepy crawlies doesn't appeal.
doesn't appeal لا تروق doesn't appeal لا تروق لي.
Well, maybe I can convince you in this
Maybe I can convince you. Convince you.
this program because that's what we're discussing. Because that's what we're discussing. And teaching you some vocabulary along the way. But first, I must serve you a question to answer. But not made from bugs. Do you know what type of food is? Do you know what type of food is sometimes known as priest chokers?
Sometimes knows a priest. Chokers مختلف. Chokers. Priest كاهن.
Sometimes known as priest chokers. Is sometimes known as priest chokers. Is it A, cheese, B, pasta, or C, potato?
I think I know this one, Neil. It's pasta, isn't it?
Well,
It's pasta, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Well, I'll give you the answer at the end of the program. But let's get back to food. Made from bugs, which is a growing trend in the Western world.
Which is a growing trend in the Western world. Which is a growing trend in the Western world.
Insects are an alternative source of food. Insects are an alternative source of food.
Insects.
Insects are an alternative source of food. Insects are an alternative source of food. An expert say they're filled with food. An expert say they're filled with food. An expert say they're filled food. An expert say they're filled with food. An expert say they're filled with lots of good nutrients, including
amino acids.
Lots of good nutrients, including amino acids. Lots of good nutrients, including amino acids and protein. And eating them could help to fight world hunger
And reduce pollution.
I'm not convinced yet.
I'm not convinced yet.
But
reduce pollution.
I'm not convinced yet. But I do know that the word
but I do know that the word for eating insects is, and word for eating insects is
eating insects.
insects,
Insects. 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 Insects.
entomophagy,
Entomophagy. Entomophagy.
and it's something BBC World Service program, the food chain.
The program spoke to experts who think cooking with bugs is a great idea. Cooking with bugs is a great idea. One of them was Andy Holcroft. Founding director of Grub Kitchen and Bug Farm Foods. He explained the challenge of getting some
He explained the challenge of getting some people
to eat bugs.
In the Western culture, we have got a bit.
People to eat bugs.
In the Western culture, we have got a bit. In the Western culture,
in the Western culture. We've got a pit
a bit of an uphill.
in a pool. A pit of an pool.
uphill,
Uphill. A pit of an uphill. صعوبة.
A bit of an uphill.
Uphill. Uphill. صعوبة. A little bit of uphill.
uphill,
Uphill.
A bit of an uphill. I'd say struggle.
I'd say struggle. Because
Because preconceptions around eating.
preconceptions. Because of preconceptions.
conceptions,
Conception المفاهيم السابقة preconception around eating insects.
Because preconceptions around eating insects are already. Because preconceptions around eating insects are.
Insects. Because the preconception around eating insects
Already sort of ingrained in society.
already sort of
ingrained,
ingrained متأصلة already sort of ingrained
society,
المجتمع ingrained
Already sort of ingrained in society. So we already sort of ingrained in society. So we
sort of نوعا ما
we already think before we even tried them. They're gonna taste.
we already think before we even tried فكر بالفعل قبل أن نجربه
Them. They're gonna taste disgusting or gross. They're gonna taste disgusting or gross.
disgusting or gross مقرف أو مقرف disgusting or gross كلها مصطلح مقرف they're going to test
So to actually get someone to put it. In your mouth, the easiest way.
put it in your mouth the easiest
Put it in your mouth. The easiest way. Put it in your mouth. The easiest way we find straight away is to try.
why we find a straight way
Way we find straight away is to try. Maybe a cricket cookie.
a cricket cookie
Try maybe a cricket cookie, or try maybe a cricket cookie, or a chocolate chip cricket cookie, or a chocolate chip cricket cookie.
or chocolate chip cricket cookies
cricket,
Or a chocolate chip cricket cookie, or a chocolate where you don't actually see we're using cricket powder, so you don't actually see any insects whatsoever. You're getting the idea that you're eating them, so
you getting the idea that you are eating them.
So people can deal with that a bit.
So people can deal with that. حتى يتمكن الناس من التعامل معها.
Bit more than actually seeing the whole insect. Bit more than actually seeing the whole insect.
Whole
insect. Interestingly, it seems
Interestingly,
it seems to be Interestingly, it seems to be Western culture. Interestingly, it seems to be Western cultures that don't like eating insects. Perhaps because it's thought to be wrong. Perhaps
ربما perhaps because it's thought
Perhaps because it's thought to be wrong or just disgusting, even if it's not. Or just disgusting, even if it's not. As Andy says, people have preconceived
conceived idea
ideas about it. To change these ideas is an up. To change these ideas is an uphill struggle. To change these ideas is an uphill struggle. To change
uphill
struggle. One needs a lot of effort to achieve.
effort struggle or needs a lot of effort to achieve struggle or needs a lot of effort to achieve الكثير من الجهد لتحقيقه needs a lot of effort to achieve needs a lot of effort to achieve مجهود struggle or need a lot of effort to achieve
Yes, the negative attitude to eating.
موقف negative
Attitude.
Negative attitude to eating.
Yes, the bugs is ingrained
into society.
Bugs is ingrained into society. Meaning this is a long-lasting attitude.
Meaning this is a long-lasting
attitude.
lasting down.
Meaning this is a long-lasting attitude.
Meaning this is a long-lasting attitude
that is difficult to change. But Andy and other chefs are trying to change that attitude by subtly introducing insects into
مهارة subtly مهارة by subtly introducing
insects into food.
By subtly introducing insect into food.
by subtly introducing insects into food, such as his chocolate chip cricket cookies.
Cricket cookies. Cricket cookies.
This is just for starters.
Starters. مبتدئين.